Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network. And this is this AFC South show 129. So if you are a Colts, Titans, Jags, or Texans fan, you've come to the right spot for your enjoyment. My name is Curtis. I'm the host of the channel. With me, as always, our resident Jaguars fan, Isaiah Michelli, a.k.a. Duval's finest, a.k.a. What was your spin on the Glitter Kitty thing?
The Glitter Kitty Crusader.
I like that. I like it. And then with me, as always, our resident Colts fan, speak softly and carry a big steck, Jeffrey Steckel. The steck hole, yes.
Big stick.
So we're going to be talking about all of the injury news for certain cat-related teams in the South. We're going to be talking about all of the games, and we're going to be kind of not necessarily looking like in a preview sense forward, but we're going to be looking forward a little bit just to kind of gauge where everybody's feeling things are going to shake out now. Blake could not be here this evening, our resident Titans fan, so we will admirably do our best to fill in for the Titans Speaker of the House. But we are in the middle of a hunt for 1,000 subscribers. At the time of this recording, we have 403. We have a small goal to reach of 420. That's 17 more subs. So if we're not there in the time that you're watching this, please hit the button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. If you got any Texans, Titans, Jags, Colts, or wait, is that everybody? Did I say everybody? Texans, Titans, Jags, Colts, fans in your life. Send them our way. Send us to them. You know, just hit the little curved arrow thing.
Share button.
Share button.
Share.
Every time you click it, it's, do you believe in love? That's all I needed. Just a little. That's all. I'm good. I'm validated now. So let's get into it. We got a 35 like goal on this episode, so pump the numbers, baby. Let's get into it. We're going to lead off with the most surprising game of the weekend slate, and that would be the Jaguars-Bengals game. I don't even want to say too much. Isaiah, take it away.
Well, we came out strong in the first drive. Nice little 3-and-out, you know. And then for some reason, we switched out everybody's jerseys to a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids and put them on the field. And the defense was just terrible from then on. Tyson Campbell got cooked. It's his first game back in a little while. And he hurt his quad, so now he is back to day-to-day. Trevor Lawrence got hurt. Trey Herndon got hurt. Andre Sisco popped his shoulder out of socket. 100% dislocated his shoulder during the game. Whenever he hit the tight end, you see him kind of get up, and it's just like hanging down, and he's like doing everything one-handed. And then, you know, Wingard came in for a couple plays, and the next drive we saw him out there in a shoulder brace. And he came back and was playing just fine. He hit Jamar Chase one good time, but obviously, you know, wasn't enough. And yeah, it was just a bad day. We had like the number 2 or number 4 run defense coming into this game, and we got absolutely shit on in the run game. Devin Lloyd looked good at times, but not great. Foye still was tackling machine. He was doing what he could out there. Greg Jr. had like 1 or 2 good plays, and then like 3 or 4 bad plays, and the rest was just kind of mid. It's nice to see him get some reps, but not like that with the player getting hurt for him to get them. It was just a bad outing overall. Am I going to blame the refs for the loss? No. Was there a bad call on Anton Harrison on that OT drive? Absolutely. But I mean, we were getting our shit kicked in by the backup squad the whole game. If we would have just done our jobs and our defense would have held up, better than a second grade basketball team versus the Globetrotters, we probably wouldn't have had to worry about an OT drive. Not to mention Brandon McManus missed two field goals, one field goal, one field goal before OT, and then one in OT. So it was great. Actually, no, we didn't get to do it in OT because we got sacked and had to punt. That's right. Am I coming through choppy or anything to you guys?
Just now, just a little bit.
Slightly.
Okay, because y'all are chopping, but I guess as long as I'm coming through okay on your end, Gucci. But yeah, and I do just want to address all this Twitter beef between Texans fans and Jacksonville fans right now because one Twitter user decided to be a dickhead and say some racist stuff and talk about how Tank Dell deserved to be injured or whatever. I've seen like 2 or 3 like credible actual like Jags fans, or at least they have like pictures of Jags stuff and everything inside their bio, talking shit about the Tank Dell situation or saying other stuff. But I've seen about 150 to 200 Texans accounts talking about how T-Law deserved to get hurt and how it's karma and all this different stuff. Nobody wants anybody else to get hurt, but it kind of seems like y'all took 2 or 3, and it's not all Texans fans and it's not all Jags fans, but it just, from what I've seen, the overwhelming majority kind of just came out of nowhere from Texans fans for like 3 guys saying some stupid shit. But I digress. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Tank Dell, praying for that guy. Great player. Hoping he comes back soon. Trevor Lawrence got a high ankle sprain, so he should be back soon. Don't know about Trey Herndon yet. Cisco's good to go. He's 100%. Well, not 100%, but he's pretty close. Kirk has to get surgery, though. Kirk is out for the rest of the season. The only other thing that's hurt is our pride at this point. Walker Little did hurt his hamstring after he stepped on Trevor's leg. So hopefully, we'll see if he comes back or not. Just a lot to kind of digest on that. And people are still calling for Press Taylor to be fired. You're fucking dumb. You're an idiot. We scored 31 points, and you're going to tell me that the offensive coordinator needs to be fired? Trevor Lawrence was 19 of 26 or something like that, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. He overthrew 3 wide open receivers, and then he had that one where he dropped the snap where Ridley had 2 or 3 yards on the guy, and he got an impressive throw off for dropping the snap. But people are blaming Ridley for dropping that shit. Ridley had to adjust 5 to 6 yards out of position, stop, turn. He had to dive to catch the ball. It was a fucking duck. It looks like somebody shot it out of the air, and Elmer Fudd was yelling for it. It hit him in the hand, sure, but he had to make all those adjustments to a shittily thrown ball because Trevor dropped it. He did what he could. Don't blame Calvin Ridley for that. Stop acting like he's not a number one because he dropped a bad pass on a bad play, broken play. Whenever he had 3 yards on the dude, if Trevor doesn't drop it and Trevor throws a ball to him, he can catch. I mean, he's at the touchdown. Zay Jones, he missed Zay Jones on a touchdown that would have gone for like 96 yards. There were a couple plays where just bad throws because of the pocket collapsing, whatever it was, dropping the football. There was a couple times too, bad tendencies popped up. He had the right side open twice and decided for some reason to cut back field to the left, and Trey Hendrickson just ate him up when he went back. It's just about taking the layups. He's gotten a lot better. And, since the Broncos game last year, really, he's been pretty good about taking the layups. Had a couple things in the beginning of the year that were kind of popping back up. But in the last, 3 or 4 games, he's got 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been playing really good, lights out football. It's just that, this game he got frustrated. The Bengals, they kind of underestimated them. They didn't think they'd be doing this, and our defense just couldn't hold them to anything. Realistically, that late in the game, Trevor getting hurt, he should have never been. We should have been able to take him out at halftime on cruise control against the Bengals team that we saw. But they came out and punched us in the mouth, and they ran the ball well, and they did everything well that they haven't been doing well all year. And we really didn't utilize Evan Ingram down the field and over the middle enough. They were wide open a couple of times. Evan Ingram had the one nice touchdown down the sideline. But running the screen every second and third down and fourth down just isn't going to cut it at this game. And again, that's not on Press Taylor. That's on the fact that our offensive line couldn't stop a white paper bag. It's awful. Trevor's got to throw it super quick. Beathard looked good when he came in. He was 9 of 10. And barring again that holding call that was called, that was to the 1 yard line. I mean, if he gets that drive, we win the game, in overtime, and it's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, just not a good football game. We honestly, the score was a lot closer than I felt like we played. Our defense got absolutely run over, but our offense was scoring good points. So we'll see. We're gonna have to circle back on this one and just see what happens. I don't care what anybody says. I want to see Tank Bigsby get some more carries. ETN's getting beat up this late in the stretch. He's got he's got one of the most carries in the league, not the most carries at this point. He's not built for that. We need to see Bigsby and Dearness Johnson getting some more carries, but they are blowing us the fuck up, anytime we try to run the ball. So we'll see where it goes. But at this point in time, I'm just happy to see that Trevor's not out for the season with a gruesome injury. That man is made of rubber. I'm convinced he is Luffy in the worst generation, because this man keeps on getting twisted up and tangled and somehow comes out with minor injuries. Because like last year, literally, and somebody said, don't let him play on December 4th anymore. Because last year on December 4th was the Lions game when he got absolutely fucking twisted and tangled in that game. So, we'll see what happens. I don't see him playing next week, but, you never know with him. He's competitive. If he can crawl, he's going to try and go on the field. I say let him take one snap, have him take a knee or something, and keep that streak going, baby. 41 games. That's out, but I don't think he plays this week. But overall, bad day for the defense. Offense looked good enough. 31 points should win you a game against the Bengals team without Joe Burrow. And we just got to be better next time. That's really it.
Was there any inkling at all that this game could have gone that way for you?
I mean, Joe Mixon's a good running back. He's had great games every season where he scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in a game. And their defense, while they're not amazing, I mean, Trey Hendrickson and what's the other dude's name? Sam Hubbard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a solid pass rush duo. They don't have any I mean, DJ Reader, they don't have any slouches in the middle either. DJ Reader, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place, dude. But they've got a solid front seven. I mean, they're not world beaters, but they're enough to get to a Jacksonville D line or O line that hasn't been playing well. And we couldn't really affect the guy. The interior pass rush for us is still just fucking terrible, and we rely on stunts way too much. And that really killed us. There were a lot of times where Trayvon and Josh Allen and Chase on and all those guys were bumping into each other and like getting in each other's way, where sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But just scheme defensively, and the fact that Mixon and then that front four really for them can go off at any point in time. And also, I mean, anybody can look good throwing at Jamar Chase. I could have thrown for 300 yards to Jamar Chase and that receiving core. And that one, honestly, the one to chase down the sideline with Campbell in coverage, he got a hand on it. Campbell did. I mean, it bounced off his hand. He was, one swipe up away from breaking that pass up, but he's got to play better defense than that. I mean, they just have a lot of weapons, and we didn't have an answer for it.
Okay. So going forward, you said you assume that T-Law is not going to be able to make it next week. Obviously, that means that CJ Beathard is the presumed QB1. Yeah, beat hard.
That's how I always do it.
Yeah. Or you've got, of course, the preseason darling Nathan Rourke, who had that miraculous throw against Dallas. Is there anyone outside of T-Law that you would feel comfortable with?
I mean,
Not
against
necessarily
the
to the same level as, if
no, of
T-Law was
course.
in, but
I mean, against a struggling Browns team, especially with that offense, I do think that I think Beathard could lead us to a win over the Browns, or Rourke. Really, I mean, Rourke's slippery. He's kind of like Minshew. He's not a superstar starter material, but with a solid crew around him, he can at least make some things happen and win some games. He kind of has that like extended big play ability where he on broken plays he really shines because he's got a lot of core and lower body strength. He can stay up. Personally, I think Beathard has a lot more experience, and I think he's the right choice. But with that being said, I think Beathard should be on a short leash. He also hurt his wrist in that game and played the rest of the game with a hurt wrist because Nathan Rourke was not dressed to go. So I mean, I think he should be on a short leash, but I definitely think he should get the nod at least at first.
okay. Well, before I hand it off to Jeff to get his comments, this was our score predictions from the preview show. Jeff said Jacksonville 35-17. I said Jacksonville 27-6. And Isaiah said 34-10 Jacksonville.
You were off.
We were off a little bit. The over-under was 38.5. And everybody but me went with the over. So if you took the over on that one,
You're welcome.
Jeff, what are your comments about this Jags game?
Yeah, there was no way that I saw this game happening. I mean, that the backup or their line is pretty trash. Their defense, at least their secondary, I feel, is pretty suspect. They have a great receiving core. I think Joe Mixon, like Isaiah was saying, is pretty solid. But yeah, if you had come in and said that, Jake Browning or whatever is going to come in and throw 350 and a touchdown and only have 5 incomplete, like, no, I would have said you're full of shit. Yeah. So yeah, especially Jacksonville's defense is typically pretty stingy. They've been turnover machines most of the year, so it's no I didn't see this outcome coming. Any Sunday, man, or I guess in this case Monday, but
any given Sunday on a Monday.
That's why they play the game.
Yep. The final score on that game, 34-31 for the Jags, or for the Bengals. Sorry. Watching this game, like I sat down to watch this game, and sometimes I get the feeling that like because I'm watching a game, the team is fucking up.
Yeah, it was your fault.
So like
it's
like
Curtis's fault.
so like I turn off the game and go do something else and just kind of like intermittently check the score.
You turn off the game, but you can't turn me off.
I know. Only Jags.com.
Only Jags.
So
that should be the other podcast name, Only Jags.
Third and teal, baby.
Yep.
So I'm watching this game and I'm getting that feeling. So I'm like, all right, you know what? The Jags should be winning this game. I should be watching this and being like, this is a blowout. I'm going to go do something else with my time. So I was like, maybe if I'm just not observing, this will just happen. So I turn off the game. I come up to my office and I start playing a video game, and I get a score update. It's like overtime. And I'm like, whoa, what? I stopped watching it like halftime.
Wait a minute.
So I crack it open and I'm watching the last however long. I saw the Jaguars overtime drive just flounder at midfield and then just go backwards. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell happened to T-Law? Like, where's this man at? So I didn't find out that he was hurt until they mentioned it one of the 1,000 times after that. It's just further proof to anybody who is out there and asks questions while watching a movie, knowing that there's a decent chance that your question is about to get answered.
I have the same amount of information as you.
I tell my girlfriend that every time. I say, we're watching the same fucking movie. I don't know.
What is he gonna do? Well, we're at the same fucking place.
Yeah.
What is your
We're gonna
inference?
explain it.
So, look, number one, I was shocked that this was a game that was even brought to overtime. Number two, the amount of injuries that the Jaguars suffered. Like, I don't know necessarily that this changes much of their trajectory for the rest of the season, considering how cupcake some of the games are. But the games that aren't necessarily cupcake, like the Ravens game,
This really should have been a cupcake game, though.
yeah, well, there's Lamar hasn't had his yearly injury yet, so we'll see how that shakes out. But
Can he make it to the playoffs?
So I think that the Jags are in danger of dropping a couple games down the stretch here, and not necessarily. I don't want to put all my eggs in the basket that there's a decent chance that either the Colts or the Texans end up squeaking it. But that Week 18 Colts-Texans game is sounding a lot more important.
Oh, that's going to get flexed, baby.
Yeah. So, as a Texans fan, when I learned that T-Law was down, I was like, two things. One, that sucks for the Jags. Two, that's great news for the Texans.
That's great news for both of us.
Yeah.
Sorry, T-Law, but
I mean, yeah, it sucks because I share the same sentiment that Isaiah does. I don't want to see dudes hurt. I'm also on that Goku time. Like, I would rather beat you at your best and have earned it by beating you at your best, and than just like, oh, well, everybody else is just kind of broken.
Just imagine how great the sports world would be if you could have one Senzu bean per game.
God bless America. One day.
I'm talking per player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We good. Yeah.
Your arm's backwards. No, it's not.
Fine.
it's great.
Yeah. I feel amazing and very full. Yeah. This game was just a shock and awe kind of game. Even when T-Law was in the game, I found myself asking, why is this game close? And why are the Bengals able to move the ball like this?
Wasn't because of the T-Law. That man did everything he needed to do.
No, he did. But like, Jesus, there was definitely some drives where the Bengals were shutting them down, even when T-Law was in the game. It wasn't necessarily the smoothest game in the first half for the Jaguars. But
nope.
You guys got any more comments about this game?
It's never the Titans.
We're saving that for later. All right.
I love that.
All right. So next up on the docket, let's talk the Houston Texans taking on the Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos came in with a hot streak. They were tied with the Eagles, who also had their hot streak broken. 5 wins in a row. And they came into Houston looking to get number 7, leave with a 22-17 loss, and Russell Wilson throwing 3 interceptions. So let me lead off with this. Since Derek Stingley has come back from injury, he's had an interception in every game that he has played. Last week he had 2 interceptions. So he's played in like 4 games and has 5 interceptions. Like, well, hold on, I might have that 3 games and 4 picks, something like that. Regardless, he's playing at a really high level right now. There's a couple plays where if he doesn't get a hand on it or come away with an interception, that's a touchdown. But as the marquee, he's the guy, he's the corner in Houston, just like Juju Brents is going to presumably be that guy in Indianapolis, and Tyson Campbell is in Jacksonville. Derek Stingley is that guy in Houston, and he is showing why he was taken before Sauce Gardner, who, by the way, does not have as many career interceptions as Derek Stingley does.
That's what happens when you're committing PI instead of trying to catch
I was
football.
just about to say he should have way more holding calls.
Yeah. So the defense came to play, holding the Broncos to 17 points was great. Not necessarily to say that they're like, gonna score all of the points in the world,
All of them.
but it's nice to see the defense hold anybody to under 20 points. There's not many games you're going to lose if you hold teams to under 20. Carolina Panthers. But
every Patriots game.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
So boring.
Dameon Pierce got his first touchdown of the season on the ground. CJ Stroud continues to dazzle. Will Anderson Jr. is continuing his ascension, and he's just becoming a force at the edge spot for Houston just when we needed one. Not a moment before, not a moment too soon, but he's here now. We're hype about it. He's really kind of coming into his own. It's pretty cool to see. Blake Cashman played pretty damn well. There was a couple plays where he got toasted, and Derek Stingley actually bailed him out. But it's just a team win. I mean, honestly, it was nice to see the offense be able to air it out and kind of run, because that's probably about as good as we're going to get all season. It was kind of running, with the exception of playing the Bengals and having Devin Singletary go for 150. I'm trying to think here. Tank Dell's injury is season-ending. He had surgery on it this morning and went well. He will be back in time for off-season organized activities. Trying to think of who else was hurt. Oh, God. I don't think anybody else major was hurt. But no Dalton Schultz led to Brevin Jordan stepping up. Brevin Jordan had a career day in catches, yards.
Finally.
I know, right? 3 years later, and after being inactive for like 3/4 of the games he's ever been able to play in the NFL, like a healthy scratch.
Yep.
What? Why, bro? Come on. Let's see. I mean, this is another game where the offensive line was just getting demolished at times. In the first half, we only allowed 1 sack. In the second half, we allowed 4. The second half was definitely the Broncos switching the light on and figuring out what we're doing. What the next step for D'Amico and this coaching staff is being able to adjust to an adjustment made against you. And you got to be able to do it quickly. I have not seen much of that happen this season. What I've seen is we have a game plan. We're going to stick to it. Teams adjust. We don't. It's kind of a problem. I don't know if that's necessarily a Slowick issue or a D'Amico issue, but somewhere in that chain of command, somebody's not getting the full Monty of the picture, and it's really kind of annoying. But he is a rookie head coach. It's a rookie offensive coordinator. There's going to be bumps and bruises, so I take it all with a grain of salt. But, God, trying to think of Nico Collins, 9 catches, 191 yards, touchdown late in the game to put us up for good. Nico Collins is like 40 yards away from 1,000 yards on the season, which is like 543 more yards than he had in his career before that. So, hell yeah. He's definitely shown up this season and proved me wrong because I had a lot of doubts about him. I was kind of a naysayer in the offseason because we would have seen a little bit of something before now. But I do want to touch on something that Isaiah was talking about and kind of speak to Texans fans real quick about not being dicks. One day, God willing, CJ Stroud's going to get hurt. It's just the nature of the game. Even Tom Brady missed a season because of a torn ACL. It fucking happens. One day, you're going to get pissed off because Jaguars fans are mocking CJ Stroud getting hurt. And we're just going to continue this stupid cycle of bullshit.
Yeah. Won't be me, but
don't let the comments of a few ignorant people make the masses go crazy. Can't do that. Can't do that. Be better than the ignorance. Don't buy into the ignorance. Be better than the ignorance. That's why I say at the end of every podcast, be good people.
Be good people.
I'm not just saying be good, like, oh, be good. Yeah, be good people. Okay. Anyway, do you guys have any comments on this Texans-Broncos game?
The fuck? My whole computer just like blacked out for a second there. Go Jags. That's what I know. No, I mean, it was a little closer than I felt like it needed to be. I know I did pick the Broncos to win this game. But it almost just seemed like you guys had it like very like at first some of you guys kind of had it handily, and then it just kind of devolved into a shootout like a lot of Jacksonville's games have gone. And like you said, I think it's just, again, to reiterate, just an inability to quickly make adjustments or feel like maybe your game plan isn't quite as good as you thought it was. And that's one thing that coaches tend to have problems with, especially in their first year. And again, this could be, like you said, a D'Amico issue. It could be it could be your coordinators. It just depends on how much power everybody really has in the mix. But you have to make adjustments whenever stuff like that's happening. There's not a team in the league that can go in with a game plan, not make adjustments, and beat a team by 2 touchdowns. It just doesn't happen. You have to make adjustments no matter how good you seem to be against a team. And they'll learn as they do more and more as a coaching staff together. They're going to get better and better. Very promising so far. But yeah, it just felt like watching the parts I watched that game was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah. I mean,
but they were getting after Stroud a good bit.
Yeah. Early in that first half, I think we had like a 13-point lead or something.
Mm-hmm.
And just never did anything with it. I think at one point it was 16-3. And then we just let them kind of eke their way back into the game. And it was just never smooth sailing. The second half has been kind of an Achilles heel for this Texans team. And it's even been a problem in games we've won. The other team makes an adjustment and we don't. And then you can just see how they're like, hold up, it's not working anymore. What the hell? And then they're just like, no, go back out there, run it again. And it'll work. Yeah, just shove it in there and it'll work. Easy, Jeff. Easy, Jeff. Do you have any comments about this game?
Yeah, even at the very end, I think the Broncos were really close to scoring. I think that's where he threw his third interception.
Yeah,
I think I had the Broncos by 3.
You did. You had 24-21.
Damn, it been close.
Isaiah had 21-14, and I had 27-17.
Yeah, I mean, this was a game I felt they could have gone either way. I didn't really see Denver running away with it or the Texans. It was a good game. I mean, just it was one of those. But I didn't. I was trying to watch my game on what was it, Tofu. So I had like Red Zone going in that, so I didn't see a whole lot of it. But what did come up on Red Zone, man? It was a fun game. It was entertaining. CJ Stroud is, I think he's on pace for like 5,000 yards or something ridiculous. So, I mean, you guys got a good one. It's exciting for the division.
It is.
And I was so high on D'Amico Ryans in the offseason. So, I think y'all are set up for a good while.
Okay. All right. Well, again, that final score 22-17 in favor of the Texans. Let's now get into the Colts Titans game. Usually we let the winner wait, loser goes first. Do you still want to do that, Jeff, or do you just want to get in there?
I mean, I guess I can barrel right into it. This was goddamn the first half, and if you just looked at the statistics, Titans should have blown them out. I mean, I really don't understand, and I appreciate the Titans, for doing what they did. I think at one point Derrick Henry had 17 or 18 carries in the first half, and the Colts had ran 16 plays. And somehow it was still only, I think at halftime it was like 17-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was, Titans were leading. So I don't know what the fuck the Titans are doing. and I say that he had 17 or 18 carries in the first half and he finished with 21.
Well, he did get hurt, and
he is still going though, man.
I think he was like midway through the third.
Still, I mean, he had like 3 more carries. And even then, what's his name? Tajay Spears came in and he carried, like, they ran the ball over 40 times with the mix of, whatever. And almost 200 yards. I think it's like 185 or something like that. But if you read those stats, it's like, yeah, the Colts lost. I mean, that's the Titans formula. That's how they win games. For some reason, most of that was done in the first half. In the second half, they went to the pass. And it just played right into what the Colts were doing. They forced a couple of 3-and-outs, and special teams came up huge. They blocked 2 punts on back-to-back drives of the Titans. Put one in the end zone, and the other one was inside the red zone that they turned into a touchdown. Unfortunately, Blake's favorite punter, it was just he knocked the ball and ran through it, and unfortunately ran through it right into Stonehouse's leg. And it looked nasty. His leg kind of bent back. I don't know. I haven't looked at what the injury is. I don't know if it's an ACL or what it was, but it looked nasty.
Good. Yeah.
It looked bad. I saw the replay on it, man. His leg went backwards. It was the plant leg. It looked bad. So that sucks. He was having another phenomenal season, and it's football. Like, shit happens, but
Yeah.
it was just a great play, by the special teams, and that's pretty much the reason why the Colts won. Minshew, he's going to be inconsistent. He's going to do it. That's what's going to happen. But man, the things that he did good in this game outweighed some of the bad. He had a couple of like gorgeous passes to Pierce. The Titans secondary is shit. So getting behind him isn't much of an accomplishment, but they were beautiful passes right in the basket both times. Pierce, had 1 touchdown. I believe it was in the first half. He almost had a second. He fell a little bit short. Got tackled, but they were really good passes. Pass protection was incredible. Ryman has been great at left tackle. Quentin Nelson and Kelly have all been solid. Brady Smith. It's pretty much the same line as last year, and they look completely different in terms of pass protection. We didn't really get the run game going. Moss only, I think, averaged like 2.7 average. So the run game didn't get going like it did last time against the Titans, and the Titans did exactly what they were supposed to do. and for some reason they just deviated.
Yeah.
I can't understand it. But it was nice to see Alec Pierce get, I think it was his first touchdown of the season. He went over 100. And I have some interesting things about Pittman. You know, I came into this season questioning whether or not he was actually a true number one receiver. And I think he's kind of laid that to rest for me. I believe he is at this point. He's actually overtaken his first 4 years. He actually overtook Marvin Harrison for the most, for I guess, receptions in his first 4 years. So
Nice.
he's in good company, man. And it's been with a carousel at quarterback. So I feel like he's kind of cemented himself. He had the game-winning touchdown there in overtime, and it was again another great pass. You know, he beat his guy. It was a good route, and it was fun, man. And I think going to the defense, you know, it sucks that Juju Brents is out. You know, Grover Stewart, we're about to get back. That'll be a huge help against the run. But I think one of the players that I talked about that the Colts acquired this offseason, and I was really excited, and I think you were kind of like, he's not really going to do much, you know, whatever. It was Ibuka. I was high on him. I loved the pickup, and the dude is leading the Colts in sacks. And in fact, the entire as a team, they have 42, and they're second in the NFL behind the Ravens at 47.
Nice.
And Gus Bradley doesn't really do like a lot of blitzes. He just lets his front four do their thing, and they do. You know, Buckner, Odengbo, Pay, Ibukum, they're all over 5. So they're getting after it, and they're not really bringing a whole lot of extra pressure.
Yeah.
So I really like this front seven. I really like where they are. You know, I just wish that Juju Brents was healthy. You know, hopefully hopefully he'll come back pretty soon. But overall, I mean, this was just this probably would have been game of the week. You know, if it wasn't kind of like the noon game, that noon window and whatever. I mean, it was a great game for the Titans. Titans led most of the way, and Colts just forced overtime. Special teams, defense. You know, the defense got kind of rocked there in the first half, but they buckled down in the second half and did what they had to do. So
yeah,
it was all around a great game, and it puts us. I mean, I guess technically we'd be 2 games out of first in the division because Jacksonville beat us twice.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this division could easily send 3 people to the playoffs. So.
Well, it's in a lot more than 3 people, but yeah. 3
no,
teams.
You know what I mean. 3 teams.
I know. I'm fucking with you. Watching this game, because I had the Texans game and this game were going on at the same time. So I've got my laptop going on. I've got my TV with the game on, the Titans Colts game on. I'm predominantly focusing on the Texans game, but every now and then I'm looking over and I'm watching Derrick Henry in the first half just run the damn ball. And then I'm looking in the second half and I see him get popped one good time by Zaire Franklin while he's getting his legs taken out by someone else. And I was just like I saw the hit and I was like, ooh, that looked kind of rough. And then the medical people were like, hey, we got to, get this guy out. Never saw him again. That's when the entirety of the Titans game plan changed. At that point, I had not seen them run the ball very well in the second half. So when the run game stopped working, they had to shift. But the intestinal fortitude of the Colts was on full display. At no point did this team give up, have an ounce of quit in them. These dudes went into Tennessee, were down at halftime, were already behind the 8 ball of Derrick Henry getting the damn truck rolling. And they went out there and shut down the Titans offense, were able to break their best player. And then Stonehouse is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He's an all-pro.
So So
Blake just got his jersey. But the special teams coordinator for the Titans got fired today.
They got him fired because I believe that McKenzie also had a 36-yard return on a punt too. So it's just a disaster of a day for Titans special teams.
Oh yeah. Well, and with the punter being out, that meant that Ryan Tannehill had to be the guy who held the field goal. That was the extra point that was missed. That if it would have been made, there would have been no need for overtime. But here we are. So Nick Folk misses his first extra point of the season just because Tannehill was just a fraction of a second too slow to move his hands. So Nick Folk had to redo his thing. But if I were a Colts fan or a Titans fan watching that game, there were definitely moments that I was like, whoa, that was a pretty good play by Will Levis. There was a third down scramble where he runs at the first down line and decides, fuck it, I'm gonna jump, and fucking gets like helicoptered a little bit. Still gets the first down, gets up. He's hype. He's hype as hell. He's getting the rest of the team hype. That's the kind of stuff that is one kind of an X factor kind of material, and then two, it gets everybody hyped. The stadium erupted when that happened because they haven't seen a quarterback sacrifice like that since Steve McNair, and it is absolutely. It's exciting for me because I'm going to be going to the Texans-Titans game in Nashville December 17th. I'll be carrying a sign. Please watch out, like, subscribe. But I don't think this game was in any way ever going to actually go any other way than the Colts winning. The Titans at this point are just not a competitive roster. They are a flawed team that came out with a really good first half game plan. And then when the big guy got hurt, they forgot how to football. So if I'm a Titans fan, I am looking on to next year because even with the team MVP, Ryan Stonehouse out, there's not a lot of anything going on.
I don't think Vrabel will probably be back either. I think he's already kind of calling Belichick like, "Hey, you got any room?
You need a defensive coordinator."
But there was a really interesting play. I think it was a 2-point conversion the Colts were going for, and I didn't realize it when it happened. I got so pissed off at Minshew. It looked like just a weird wobbly thing trying to get out of a sack, and I just saw it land into the hands of a defender on a 2-point conversion.
I know what you're talking about.
All the way back. But it was actually tipped by Moss, so I was like, "Oh, my bad, Minshew, my bad."
Didn't mean to dog cuss you like that.
But you don't see that play very often where it goes for 2 for the other team.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of interesting shit. And I think that actually happened after they
they blocked the kick.
After they blocked the kick, yeah. So it was a really interesting chain of events that happened.
Yeah. 2 huge special teams plays essentially.
Yeah. I'm excited coming out of this game, man. It's never once this season have I been like, yeah, the Colts ain't gonna win. Like they don't have a chance. I shouldn't even bother watching this fucking game. Every game this year, it seems like when they needed to adjust, they've adjusted. When they needed to, change the game plan or change how they attack somebody, I don't think there's been a single game where I'm like, yeah, they are done. They're toast. They're not going to make it. Every single game I felt like they could win this one.
Yeah.
And there were so many times last year I'm like, yeah, there's no chance. Like Frank Reich was just, and then of course that Saturday, Jeff Saturday came in to just calm the circus down.
Yeah.
There was just so much shit going on. It's all coaching. I mean, it's like I said, it's the same line. There was very little turnover on this team. There was a couple of pieces, yeah, but for the most part, the core of this team is exactly the same, and it's a totally different philosophy, mindset, competitiveness. without their QB1, without their the second round pick and Juju, without Grover Stewart, and it's like, and they're still just finding ways to win.
Yeah.
I love this team. Coaching is great on it too.
I love the team too.
I love this team, man.
Brooms
Isaiah,
out. Brooms out.
You got any comments on this Titans Colts game?
I was really hoping the Titans would win it because it'd be really funny for the Texans to go back into second and for the Colts to drop back to third. And just to see like the Colts and Titans fans the Colts and Texans fans just like devouring each other about like who's the better team. But no, I mean, not really too much to say. Levis had some good throws. Levis had some bad throws. Minshewed. Colts defense continues to just be they're good. I mean the Titans score more points than I was expecting, but I mean the Colts defense is good. They cause turnovers, they wreak havoc. Those linebackers, I mean, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, overall linebacking core in the NFL right now. Whenever everybody's healthy, especially. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say on that. I mean, they're just that front seven's just good at football.
It's truth.
Go
ahead.
Prayers out to the best punter in the league, Ryan Stonehouse. Sucks to lose an MVP. Almost forgot. But yeah, sucks to lose an MVP. I'm glad that Derrick Henry is okay. Tajay Spears looked good in his place. But yeah, rip Stonehouse. We'll see you next year.
Yeah. And Vrabel has maintained that Derrick Henry is not in concussion protocol. So
they cleared him. He's good.
Yeah. Our score predictions for this game. Jeff, you predicted Indianapolis to win 24-16. I said 21-10 Indianapolis. And Isaiah said 28-14 Indianapolis. So kind of? No?
Maybe
close.
You're almost there. Do we have any final comment? Adrian Amos was signed by the Houston Texans today. It's mostly because Jalen Petrie has taken a rather large step back in his play this season. I was looking at his PFF grade, and he's like 79 out of 94. Yeah,
he's got to be playing through an injury or something.
I have no idea what his deal is, but they brought in Amos. He's, I assume, going to be the 3 who occasionally spells Jalen, but we shall see, because Jimmy Ward was in and out of the game with an injury. So we'll see how it goes. He did make the big interception to kind of wrap the game up. So, I mean, I know he came back, but still. You guys got anything? Anything?
Oh yeah, we forgot one blank thing. He wanted to announce to thank the Colts for what's his name, Autry.
Oh yeah,
because he did get a sack fumble on Minshew in this one.
Yeah,
so I'll give that to Blake.
I would like to thank the Titans for it never being them.
It was never them.
It was never the Titans.
It wasn't the Titans.
It was not. It was never. All right. Well, I think this is a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. Folks, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button. We got a 35 like goal on this episode. Trying to get to 420 subscribers for obvious reasons. The big goal, 1K subscribers. We're almost halfway there. When we get halfway there, we'll be able to start doing memberships.
Only Jags.
Exclusive content. Only Jags.
You get bearing it all and only Jags.
Isn't that like the Ashley Madison slogan or something?
Probably.
You get to hear me really let loose for the fans, you know?
OnlyJags.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll shut.
let's hit the thumbs up button.
Let's
hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future content.
Do that too.
Do it all.
We are Texans, and folks, be good people.
Definitely be good people, you pieces of shit.
Go Colts.
Love you.